Hi everybody, Amy White with Worthy Written Words, and today we're going to be in Doctrine and Covenants, section 30, verse 2, in our wide margin Doctrine and Covenants. We're going to be working on the Things of God page kit today, so to start off, I'm going to put a piece of scrap paper behind my page, and I'm going to use some clear gesso by Dina and a foam brush. And I'm going to apply a light coat of this clear gesso to the page that I'm going to be working on, and I'm going to put it on the entire page, and I want to spread it out so that it's not super thick, because the thicker it is, then the more brush stroke marks you'll leave when it dries, and you want it to dry fairly quickly. And if you don't have a heated tool, then you should let it air dry, and it won't take very long if it's a thin coat of clear gesso. And I will leave the link to this in my video description if you don't already have one from a previous kit from us. Now I have a cutting mat that I'm using behind what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to use my Exacto knife and this little cutout of the airplane window. And what I want to do is I want to physically cut out the innermost window section, but I'm not going to cut out the very top part. So I'm going to cut out about starting from like the upper curves, mid curve, all the way around to the other mid curve, if that makes sense. Now your Exacto knife should be sharp enough, since it's brand new, that you shouldn't have to do what I'm doing, but mine isn't brand new. So what I do is I am cutting this, but then I have to flip it onto the back side and cut it along the marks made along the back side, just to make sure I have a thorough cut all the way through. Now I'm going to lift this up and I'm going to fold it, and I'm using a bone folder just to make that crease really nice, and but you don't have to use that. I'm going to fold it along the top, and then I'm going to fold it back down just in the middle part, and this is going to make it so that the window will open with a little assistance from our next step. Next, I'm going to take this cutout piece and I'm going to bend it where the little black line is, and this is going to create the tool that we need to lift up the window. So by putting that at the bottom of our window from behind and pulling up, it will lift it up in this little mechanism. So I'm going to glue that to the front of the window with just a glue stick, and I'm only gluing the part that sits on top, not the underneath part, just the little section. And it really doesn't matter which way this strip of paper is attached, whether it's the white on the front or the back, because the window part's going to get covered up. So it just depends on if you, I guess, if you want sticking out of the top of the window to be white or gray. Either way, it doesn't matter. So after we attach that, we are going to go back to our book now, and we are going to cover up verse 2 with some washi tape. Sorry, 1 and 2 with some washi tape, junk washi tape that you don't care about just throwing away. We're going to cover the words up, and then when we're done, we're going to throw it away. And this is to protect the verse underneath from staying white, so it'll pop off the page when we're done. After we have that put on, we're going to use our Gelato from Faber Castell, and we're going to apply this. It's just kind of like a lipstick, and we're going to use our finger, because our finger is going to work so much better than just using a mini ink blending tool or anything like that. You can see here I tried both ways. So our finger will make it the most saturated, and I am going to cover up. In fact, looking back, I kind of wish I did the entire page, but I'm going to cover up about I don't know, like a third of the page, like the top left corner, I guess you can say, of the page. And I'm going to go down enough after the verse so that I can attach a little sticker there and it's covered up. And you may need a couple of coats of this Faber Castell Gelato. And if you plan to put writing on this page, just know that this kind of media does not work well with using pens or markers on top of it. It will ruin whatever you are trying to put on top of it. So that is why I'm only putting stickers on top of it. So keep that in mind. If you plan to add notes, then you might want to limit where you actually put this color. I did run into an issue leaving it this way, where the bottom curled up, and I laid it flat for some time with some heavy books on it, and it's still curled. So it might actually be wiser to take this all the way down, wherever you start it, to take it all the way down the page at least. So we're gonna cover this up all the way to the top, and then when it's fully dry and it's the way that we like it and it's covered up all the areas that we want, whether it's the whole page or just this section, then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna remove the washi tape that we put on and throw that away. I hope this next part isn't confusing. So I'm going to lay it out completely flat, just like this. And then I'm going to put some micro dots or craft tape on the back side of the window and around the bottom. And the reason I'm doing this is so that I can put the background sticker on it. Now I'm going to peel this background sticker on it, and I'm going to put it behind so that it'll stick to the window. And now I'm going to put some along the bottom and the sides, but not along the top. You want to leave the top so that it is, you can slip right there. Do you see how I did that? You can slip that piece of cardstock through. And then when you place it on your page, then you can pull it up and it will be a working little window. Now I'm going to outline the verse using a black Glaze pen by Sakura. You don't have to use this exact pen. Any sort of marker or colored pencil or pen will work as long as it doesn't bleed through to the other side of your page. So I go over it once, and then I'm going to go over it again to make it have kind of a doodle effect, or just to make it so that it's doesn't have to look like it's so perfect. It can just kind of be a little more casual. Now I'm going to put this window sticker on top of the window, and it may be a little bigger or a little smaller than your fold. Just adjust it to what's needed. If there's a little extra hanging over the top, you can either cut it off or just bend it over. Mine actually worked out to be really perfect, and I didn't need to make any adjustments. And again, I just folded it in half. Now I'm going to place this sticker underneath the window. Now I'm using some tacky glue. You could also use Elmer's glue. What will not work is a glue stick, or I even used some glossy accents that can be used as glue, and that will work, but it did leave a yellow tint to the cloud. So anyways, I'm using tacky glue. So usually any liquid glue will work, and I'm gluing these cardstock cutout clouds to the felt. And then after those are glued on, I'm going to cut them out. Now I'm going to take these fuzzy clouds and my perspective tab, and I'm going to figure out where I want them to go along the top margin, and then I'm going to use my Adtech micro dots or whatever sort of craft tape you have, and just put some glue on the back and glue it right to the top of the margin. When you're doing the tab, make sure that you only do the bottom portion of the tab, since the top part is going to be sticking up. And the same goes for the clouds. If you plan on having something stick up above your page, you probably don't want to put some glue underneath it. Last but not least, I'm going to put this quote sticker along the bottom, and I'm going to put a little bit of washi tape just along the top part of it to give it a little bit more cute decorative design. And that is going to be the end of this page. I hope you guys had so much fun learning how to make this interactive window. I plan to use this some more in different scenarios in the future. I can't wait. And be sure to follow us so you can stay up to date on all of our latest kit releases, and we will see you guys again next time. Bye.